Hello everyone, thank you so much for clicking on today's video and welcome to my channel. In today's story, OP reaches out to Reddit because her boyfriend is thinking about taking in his nephew and he wants to move in with her. However, she's not interested in helping raise the kids and she denies his request. She feels like she's in a really bad dilemma. Luckily, talking things out with strangers on Reddit does help clear her mind. She does go into a lot of details in the comments, so stay tuned for that section to find out what she says. And the update does end on a semi-positive note. I do hope that you enjoy this story. If you do, please leave a thumbs up. And before we move on to the story, I just wanted to take a second and thank all of my subscribers. Thank you so much. You guys are so amazing. For those that are new here, if you do like my content and would like to support me, I would really appreciate it if you could hit the subscribe button. Anyways, thank you so much for your time and on to the story. Am I the a-hole for refusing to let my boyfriend move into my house with his nephew, even temporarily? I'm a 23-year-old woman who inherited my grandparents' house and land last year. Although I wish that they were still alive, I'm grateful to have a good place to live after college without worrying about housing, unlike many of my friends. My boyfriend Adam, who's a 24-year-old male, and I have been planning to move in together this summer. He currently lives in an apartment with 3 roommates. Unfortunately, Adam's older brother is not a good person, and he and his girlfriend were involved in some shady stuff in the past. As a result, Adam only talks to them during holidays. They have a 5-year-old son, whom Adam sends birthday cards and gifts to, but hasn't spent much time with due to family drama. Recently, the girlfriend died and Adam's brother is going to be in jail for a long time. Adam's mom is disabled and cannot take care of the child full time. The girlfriend's family has disowned her and wants nothing to do with the child, leaving Adam as the only option for guardianship, or the child will go into foster care. I'm not fond of kids. I had a very difficult childhood, so I don't think that I would be a good parent. I also don't like the noise and chaos of having a child around. Adam and I have discussed the possibility of having a child before, so he knows my thoughts on it. When he suggested moving in together sooner so that he could take in his nephew, I told him that I wasn't comfortable with that and that we would have to put our plans on hold until he figures something else out. Adam said that he couldn't afford a new place on his own since rent is sky high, and his current place doesn't have enough room for his nephew. On the other hand, my place has plenty of room and would be perfect for them. However, I still declined his request, even though it meant his nephew would have to go somewhere else. Adam's mom has been calling me to plead with me to let them stay with me for a while until they can find other arrangements. I feel like if I let them stay, it would become permanent, and I don't want to deal with kicking them out later if they don't find a new place. Our mutual friends have said that I'm being an a-hole for not helping Adam and his nephew, but I don't want my space invaded. OP gave a lot of additional context in the comments. The overwhelming judgment was not the a-hole, and here are some of the comments and OP's replies. One Redditor said, "Not the a-hole, but this could be the end of your relationship." To which OP replied, "Sadly, it probably is. I'd be happy to continue dating seriously without living together because it would still be a year or 2 before I'd feel comfortable getting engaged and married, and that's plenty of time to work on a solution. But if it's now or bust, I'm going to have to pick bust. Feeling pressured into things is a big deal for me." Another Redditor said, "He's going to have this kid for many years. What would you expect to change in a year or 2? To which OP replied, "I'd be okay with being in a permanent relationship with someone I don't live with. So maybe a solution is we stay together and live separately until the kid is grown up. That would work for me. I'm pretty self-sufficient and I don't need a live-in partner to be happy, I think. I also have a feeling this guardian situation isn't going to last. Adam doesn't strike me as the kind of person right now to take on a traumatized little kid and all of the stuff that goes with it." I'd give it 3 months for the panic to wear off and the reality to set in, for him to realize how much it's going to change his life in ways he cannot deal with. Maybe I'll be surprised, but Adam is one of those people that kind of needs to start with keeping a houseplant alive first. Another Redditor commented with regards to OP saying, Adam doesn't strike me as the kind of person right now to take on a traumatized little kid and all of the stuff that goes along with it. And the Redditor said, except he already has, willingly. People can change, especially when something life-altering happens like it did with him. To which OP replied, I mean, technically, he hasn't yet. He needs a stable place to live that meets CPS basic requirements before they need to turn the kid over to him. So the child is living in a temporary foster home right now. What happens when a month in he realizes that dealing with a child that's going through hell is way harder than he expected and he can't handle it? The kid goes back into foster care with even more trauma. Taking responsibility for something and actually doing the responsibility is way different. I think Adam can do the first one and is going to screw up the second one really hard, and it's going to fall on the kid. Another editor said, do you have concrete reasons to think that Adam will fail at this, or is it just speculation? To which OP replied, we've been friends for a while before we started dating. He's never taken care of a kid, never even had a pet. He's a good guy, but he's a dude in his early 20s that hasn't had a whole lot of responsibilities or tie-downs until now. And part of the reason that I want to ease into living together and thinking about marriage over a few years is that I grew up in an unstable environment with unstable people and was in foster care for a while. I want to make sure that he can settle and stabilize. I don't think that he completely understands what's going to happen when the back paths stop and he has to deal with actually having a kid. Another Redditor said, unpopular opinion, but you're the a-hole. Taking them in long term is one thing, but helping them out until they find a better place is not a big ask. If you are worried, then write a lease, talk to him, and make sure that he understands that this is just until they have a new place. I'm sure your boyfriend is having a hard time with this situation too. To which OP replied, it's a lot bigger deal than that. Even with a lease, if Adam can't find somewhere and refuses to go, I would have to give them 30 days notice to move before starting eviction, and that would take at least an extra 30 days beyond that. So then I'm stuck for at least an extra month or two with 2 people in my house that I don't want there. One an angry ex and the other an already traumatized kid who will be taken back by CPS anyway if Adam is evicted with no place to go. The kid doesn't need to be exposed to any more adult fighting and instability. This is one reason why it's obvious to me that Adam isn't ready to parent this child. He doesn't have a plan that doesn't involve other people doing most of it for him. Well, the decision has been made. I broke up with him last night. Reading all of the responses made me realize that I don't actually want him to move in, with or without his nephew at this point. He did not take it well, which is probably another reason that this wasn't going to work in the end. Hopefully he and his mom can figure something out together. A quick update on the situation. Some of you were right about my ex's intention. He abandoned the idea of taking in his nephew a few days after I broke up with him. He called me from a mutual friend's phone and asked me to take him back. I asked him why he wasn't going to take in his nephew, and he said that it would be too hard to do it alone. So it seems like he was expecting me to help him with the kid all along, instead of just letting them stay for a while. Without a free place to live and a built-in helper, he's not interested in taking in his nephew. I decided not to take him back. Breaking up was the best thing that could have happened, and I feel a lot better without him in my life. Thanks for the advice. So guys, what did you think about this? I for one do not think that OP was in the wrong at all at any point in this situation. Like, she had made her opinions clear about having children in the past, and she knew her boyfriend very well, so she knew that this wouldn't be a temporary situation. So yeah. And I feel so bad for the kid. Like having to go through so much trauma and then having to go into the foster system. Oh my god, it breaks my heart for him and I wish him the best. And also, the boyfriend ended up being such a scum. He literally wanted OP to be the primary caretaker or at least a part-time caretaker. Oh my god, I hate people like that. Anyways, I'd be really interested in hearing what you guys have to say about this. Please let me know in the comments down below. If you did like this, I'd really appreciate it if you could leave a thumbs up. And please subscribe if you'd like to hear more stories from Reddit with updates.